I am standing in our kitchen when my phone pings. The screen shines. $120,000 transferred. My husband holds his phone like it is nothing and says, "It's done." The envelope with the wire confirmation sits on the counter. My breath stops. I force a smile so small it feels like a crack. I say one-word sentence that is not a question, "Why?" He looks at me and answers with a lie so casual it slams like a door. He says it was a gift for someone going through a hard time. He talks like a man who rehearsed kindness. He turns and walks out to his car. As he goes, his phone buzzes. An unknown name lights up the screen. Samantha Reed. I feel the world tilt. I pick up the envelope with hands that do not belong to me. The numbers on the bank slip stare back. College funds, the house down payment, the emergency money, gone. He closes the car door and drives away. I stand in the quiet kitchen, listening to the echo of the house. My mind races. I know one thing, I must not scream. I must not cry. Yet something hard wakes inside me. I take a photo of the wire confirmation. I save it. Then I delete the photo from the trash so he won't see it. My pulse sounds loud in my ears. I hold my phone and type the name into the bank app to double-check. Samantha Reed. The transfer is logged under her account. The money was our life savings, everything we had treated like a single basket. I think back to our choices, my overtime shifts, his promise that we'd buy a small house, the nights we ate cheap so the kids could have piano lessons. I replay every sacrifice in dizzy loops. He tells me it was settlement and closure, as if those words make it right. I go to his study for nothing. His desk is a neat sea of papers. A folded plain itinerary peeks from under a stack of business cards. It is for Samantha and leaves next week. My heart drops. If she is flying out, what for? I screenshot the confirmation and hit save. My finger hovers over delete, then I do it. I empty the trash on my laptop to avoid tipping him off. I need proof, but I cannot let him smell it. I tuck the screenshot into a hidden folder and rename it. The secret sits in my machine like a small bomb. I whisper to myself that I will not be rash. I will not tell. I will watch. For now, silence. Night after night I lie awake beside him and scroll transaction histories. He sleeps like a man who has nothing to hide. Months of small transfers scroll past, 500, 1200, little leaks as if someone had turned on a slow stream. They are labeled as loans. I study each line until my eyes burn. My stomach knots when I find a transfer tagged with the name of a lawyer from his old company. Why would he use that lawyer? I dig deeper. A VoIP call log shows a midnight connection between his number and Samantha's. There is a missed voicemail from her that says, "He promised me the rest this weekend." My hands shake. I listen to the clock tick and feel the drip of time. I could confront him. I could throw the sheets aside and scream. Instead, I download the logs. I copy them to a hidden drive. I don't touch his sleep. I keep the soft hush in the bed and build a quiet war in the dark. The house smells like coffee and late paper. In my head, I form a pattern. This is not a single mistake. This is a plan. I tell myself I will remain calm and watch the pattern fall apart on its own. One afternoon I open his laptop for nothing while he is in the shower. He always leaves the lid up like a door ajar. A folder named S sits in the root directory. My breath catches. Inside are emails, hotel receipts, payments to a private account, and affectionate notes he swore were deleted years ago. He texts me later that day, "You worry too much." I keep quiet. I duplicate everything to a hidden drive. I do not let him know I hold the truth. Among the files is a scanned check with my forged signature on the back. My eyes blur. The date on the forged endorsement is a day I was at the ER. I remember the dull white lights, the bitter coffee, the slow moments between pain and sleep. I was sedated that day. I could not have signed anything. I hold the document until my fingers go numb. The betrayal is not just money. It is my name used like paper. I make a copy and send it to a secure folder. I label it Forge. My hands are steady now. I feel the cold clarity of someone who has seen the bottom of a trap. I confront him, but not with the heavy proofs. I speak soft and strategic. I ask broad questions. Is everything okay with the accounts? And watch his face. He gaslights with outrage. How could you think I'd do that to us? He plays the injured husband. Then he accuses me of snooping. I curl my lips into the hurt he expects. He softens, says I am paranoid, loves me, promises to make it right. I accept the apology. Later, when he thinks I sleep, I hear a whisper from the living room through the thin wall. He says into the phone, "She has no proof." I wake and lie still. The house hums. I catch a word my ear alone grabs, the name of the offshore bank he uses. A cold stone drops in my chest. He walks into bed, half smiling, unaware I am fully awake. I do not speak. I do not move. I tuck the hurt into my ribs like armor. I tell myself the next move must be surgical. I will not be baited. I will gather every thread he thinks I cannot reach. I hire a private investigator under the gentle lie of a missing bracelet. He comes with quiet shoes and a calm voice. He sends me a text one afternoon. A photo of Samantha stepping from a luxury car in town, 2 blocks from our house. The image shows her in sunglasses, tall, laughing. My chest tightens. The PI digs deeper. He finds a paper trail showing the money moved through a small business registered under a friend of my husband's. The friend's address is an empty storefront. Someone is using it as a mailbox. The PI says things in clipped ways that make me colder. This is organized, he says. It is led. I give him permission to follow the friend. I buy myself careful time by smiling when my husband asks how my day was. He never sees the files I am compiling. At night, I watch the PI's updates and mark dates in a notebook. I do not let my voice rise. I write down facts as if I were building an inventory of the storm. The PI's last text that night is short. There's more. Wait. The wait bites. I go to a dinner party where he brags about helping an old friend. I act like a woman who believes in roses. I smile and clink glasses. Out loud I praise his generosity while cataloguing lies in my head. I watch his face in the light and memorize the angle of his jaw. At the table a guest mentions a shopping spree. I laugh because my throat is too tight for anger. In the middle of the party, Samantha posts a story tagging him. Cheeky, triumphant, a shopping spree in downtown boutiques. My phone vibrates. An untagged DM arrives on my personal account with a screenshot. A bank transfer notification for $30,000, timestamped this morning. My hand fumbles. I pretend to be casual while the world underneath me trembles. I do not throw the DM at him. I do not call him a thief. I tuck the screenshot into the secret folder. Everyone applauds a toast. I lift my glass and say, "To friends who help." The words feel like a blade. People hug. I walk through the crowd as if nothing is wrong. My smile has teeth now. I tell one person everything. My oldest friend, the one who knows my history and my fear. She nearly explodes. She is a tax attorney and sees red flags like a lighthouse sees rocks. She warns me not to act impulsively. She tells me to gather facts and avoid public fights that might let him hide assets. She digs. In a few days she texts, "Look at this." A corporate invoice trail shows my husband invoiced his own company for consulting fees matching the amounts funneled away. The paper is neat and clinical, but I feel its weight like a hand on my throat. She says, "This is tax evasion territory." My hands shake. My friend tells me to be careful and offers to help quietly. She warns that timing matters. That very night my husband gets a call during dinner. The company CFO wants to meet Monday. He walks away from the table with a smile that is too thin. He thinks business troubles are about spreadsheets. He has no idea the trouble that will cut him open. He walks into the bedroom one evening with flowers and a speech rehearsed for maximum effect. He kneels, apologizes, and weeps for a show that stings the air. I keep my face calm and let him cry. I am the picture of forgiveness in front of friends. Privately I start building an airtight file. I collect copies of messages, receipts, timestamps, hospital records. I make lists, binders, hidden folders. That night I find a notarized agreement in his briefcase. It is crisp and legal, and it says he signed to release funds to Samantha as compensation. The notary's stamp shows a firm that folded 2 years ago. Paper cannot lie, but it can be stamped with dead seals. I sit at my kitchen table with a lamp and study the document until dawn. I feel like a detective in my own life. I tape the notarized agreement into the binder and write the firm's history in the margin. The world outside sleeps. I do not. I hire a forensic accountant under the business pretense of a new venture that needs auditing. He arrives with a serious face and a satchel of knowledge. He sifts through bank statements and vendor lists like a farmer examining soil. He finds suspicious withdrawals disguised as vendor payments routed to Samantha's account. He traces duplicate invoices with different payee names. One invoice uses my own social security number in place of a vendor. My stomach lurches. The accountant says quietly, "If this was intentional, it's embezzlement." His words hang in the air like a verdict. We talk about the legal path and timelines. He warns me that banks and companies will fight subpoenas. He tells me to keep my voice low, to let investigators act. I listen. He becomes part of my quiet army. The accountant leaves with copies of everything. I watch him walk away and think how heavy truth feels when it is piled into folders. I do not breathe until the front door shuts. Then I allow myself one small exhale and a plan. I make a casual intake call to a divorce lawyer, keeping my tone light like a woman asking about a broken faucet. The lawyer gives options and warns about moving too fast. Commingled assets make things messy. She suggests something tactical. Stay outwardly cooperative while we collect admissible evidence. She explains about subpoenas and freezes and how public fights can bury evidence. She tells me to be silent in public. I follow her advice. A few days later, my husband sends an accidental text while at dinner with colleagues. "If she goes for the house, I'll have nothing left, blame her." The text autosaves in the cloud and syncs to a backup I control. My stomach drops when I read it. He thinks he is clever. I let our attorney know. She smiles a small, professional smile and says, "We wait, we gather." Patience feels like power. I stop imagining dramatic scenes and start making lists. The lawyer becomes a steady voice reminding me that the case will be won with documents, not shouting. I close my notebook and feel calmer than I have in weeks. Using a legal loophole, my lawyer explains, we file a quiet motion requesting an inquiry into unusual transactions. The motion looks like routine compliance work. The bank flags multiple transfers and freezes the suspicious account pending investigation. The action is silent but effective. Overnight, Samantha posts a video trying to shame me. "He helped me when no one else would," she says, smiling in a way that makes my skin crawl. The next morning her bank account shows a hold. She sends me a DM full of threats, "Release him or I blow everything up." The message reads like a child swinging a bat. I forward it to my lawyer. The lawyer tells me to stay calm and promises to file it. The bank's action buys time. The freeze is small, but it stings the people who depend on the flow. I watch Samantha's posts and feel something cold and steady form inside me. I stop answering her. I stop answering him. I answer only to counsel. The quiet is a shield. Samantha rains tweets and DMs to paint me as the villain. She claims the money was gifted with consent. An old email surfaces where she offers to act as a consultant for my husband's startup with a monthly payment. An odd role for an ex. A man arrives at my office with a notarized affidavit claiming he saw me sign a payout authorization last year. The timing is wrong. I was in the hospital that day. I tell my attorney. We dig. The affidavit's notary stamp is shaky and matches the same dead firm I found before. The pieces look like a cheap collage. I breathe and let cool logic carry me. My lawyer instructs me to request the original notary logs from the county. We file motions and wait. Meanwhile, public opinion twitches like a cat. The smear takes shape online, but it is thin. I focus on truth. I line up witnesses, hospital records, timestamps. I prepare to show, not tell. When accusations become loud, I will let documents speak. For now, I am the quiet center of the storm. At a counseling session, I realize the worst wound is not the money but the pattern of betrayal. I tell the counselor a paired version of the truth and keep the rest folded in my chest. Admitting part of it aloud lifts a small weight. Outside, my husband is photographed leaving his firm with a box of things. The company initiates an internal audit after a whistleblower emails the CFO. The whistleblower uses a throwaway account traced to an IP address near Samantha's rental. The timing is perfect for them and maddening for me. I feel the twist of cruelty. He tries to make me the unstable one. The counselor holds a tissue out to me and does not judge. I start to see the pattern: deflect, accuse, and hide. The public notice claws at him. He thinks the firm's audit will protect him. He does not know how deep the paper trail runs. I sit in the car and breathe and write down the names of people who can testify for me. I prepare for the day when truth has no place to hide. I quietly leak sanitized, factual timelines to a local journalist. No accusations, only dates and transfers. The piece runs with the headline, "Local Executive Under Review for Unusual Corporate Payments." The article is calm and clear. The firm suspends my husband pending investigation. That night he storms into our home at midnight and slams a folder on the table labeled "Obligation, Samantha." He yells and pleads and blames me in a way that is raw and frightening. I do not shout back. I place the article in the same binder where I keep my evidence. I move through his rage like a rock that the sea curls around. The public pressure grows. My inbox fills with messages, some supportive, some cruel. I answer only the kind ones. He thinks the world is ending. In truth, a quiet machine I built with lawyers and accountants is warming up. I will let it roll. For the first time, I feel like I am not the only one watching. The city watches, too. The PI unravels something larger. Samantha is not alone. A college friend of my husband set up shell companies to move money, paying Samantha as a consultant. The friend's messages show panic. He emailed my husband, "We're exposed." The friend's phone is off. I receive an anonymous envelope at my door with a USB drive and one line, "Play this for the lawyer." I plug the drive into a secure computer our attorney provides. It holds a trove, emails, invoices, pictures of cash transactions. The evidence smells cheap and heavy. We call the PI and the accountant and then the prosecutor's office. The attorney says we must be precise. Mistakes can make it all disappear. The friend's shaking email becomes a central node in the map we are drawing. Whoever believed they had hidden a web now watches as the web lights up. I sleep in small bites. I do not dream of revenge. I dream of stacks of paper and the sound of truth landing on a hard table. We run the USB through forensics. There is a scanned document with my forged signature endorsing checks. The date matches the afternoon I was sedated after an emergency procedure. Hospital records show I was visited that afternoon by my husband. CCTV proves it. I call the hospital and get the logs. The forensics team finds the signature file is layered, a sloppy job to hide print runs. Then we hit a snag. The CCTV timestamp is missing the first 10 minutes. Someone clipped it. I feel cold anger pulse through me. Whoever did this thought they were clever. I forward the issue to the prosecutor and the PI. We request backups and chain of custody logs. It takes time. Time is a thing I now understand. I keep the forger's image in my folder like a locked key. I will show it when the judge asks for proof. For now, we trace the clip. Forensics can sometimes restore clipped footage from neighboring cameras. We hope. We wait. My lawyer reminds me of the importance of silence. Every public outburst could let him bury assets. I agree to remain calm and cooperate with the slow, surgical building of a case. I perform in public, smile at charity events, laugh at the right moments. It is a theater I have learned to wear. While pretending to collapse at his feet in front of friends one night, I record him admitting to wiring money to keep Sam quiet and to hiding invoices. I do not let the record show. It stays in a secure drive. He talks like a man trying to justify a crime with love. He jokes about a password, 2 words I do not know, that opens everything. My hand is steady as I press stop on the recorder. This small audio is a rare gift. It is the sound of his voice unraveling. I tuck it away and sleep a little better. At dinner I bait him by pretending to want to reconcile. He boasts about a master account he thinks I do not understand. I nod and smile. He laughs and says the passphrase aloud in the room, joking with friends. He is careless. He does not see me record. I have the passphrase saved in my notes as if by accident. I take the 2 words home and open a password manager with them. The manager unlocks a vault of credentials, offshore accounts, usernames, transfer paths. My heart races. I pass the list to my lawyer. We prepare emergency subpoenas. When we try to access one offshore account through a bank subpoena, someone moves funds. The offshore bank says it cannot comply without local court orders. Jurisdiction kills speed. Our lawyer scrambles. I feel the timeline narrowing. A cleaner at the bank steps in and says queries are being handled. Someone is cleaning their tracks. The race grows louder. We file emergency subpoenas and coordinate with the bank's fraud team to freeze outgoing wires. The offshore bank delays, citing legal hoops. Then Samantha posts a video from a foreign boutique, tagging a location. She withdraws a large sum in cash and flaunts her purchases. My PI books a flight. He leaves tonight to follow her trail. I feel the panic and the hope mix into something sharp. The bank flags the transfers but cannot reach the money already withdrawn. We trace the cash-to-card legs and get a lead, a currency exchange in a tourist square. The PI texts a receipt he purchased. He follows footprints through a city of strangers. I wait with the folder on my lap. The lawyer paces. I cannot fly because I must hold the home line, keep things local, keep the paper trail intact. It feels cowardly and brave at once. I choose the brave act that keeps evidence real. The PI sends small updates that read like postcards from a chase. The PI returns with receipts and witnesses. Samantha bought bespoke items with our money and joked in private messages about getting what she deserved. I give the journalist more material, receipts, witnesses, a recording of my husband planning the scheme. Public pressure mounts. Samantha's account is flagged by authorities for suspicious activity connected to a pattern of fraud. The prosecutor's office calls my lawyer and asks for a meeting. I feel a cold surge of relief and dread. They want to talk. The prosecutor says they see a pattern and need formal filings. We prepare. We put everything into a leather-bound file and deliver it. The journalist runs another story and comments flood in, some ugly, some empathetic. My life is suddenly a headline. I do not enjoy the attention, but I do enjoy the truth being visible. The PI hands me one last packet, his notes, flight receipts, and an eyewitness statement from a boutique clerk. It smells faintly of perfume and paper. The machine turns. My husband is put on administrative leave. His phone rings with lawyers and angry clients. His father, once his safety net, stiffens and freezes him out after a family meeting where receipts are shown. He had always believed safety came from family. Now that family points to paper and says we cannot ignore it. He tries to transfer small remaining accounts he thinks I do not know about, but the bank denies requests because of the investigation. He comes to our door at dawn, pale and pleading. He begs for money to avoid jail. The sight of him humbled is a strange, raw thing. I listen. I feel pity flicker and then die. This is the moment people call choices. I take a breath and tell him the truth I have been holding in quiet files. He hears it and falls like a man who realizes the ground is gone. He says he made a mistake and asks for forgiveness. I tell him I will speak when the law asks me to. I do not hand him cash. Everything we built, recordings, invoices, PI testimony, the forensic accountant's report, goes into a sealed file presented at an emergency hearing. In open court, his lawyer tries to introduce forged documents claiming my consent. My lawyer quietly introduces CCTV timestamps and the now missing notary logs. Under cross-examination, the forger cracks and points the finger at the college friend and Samantha. The courtroom buzzes. The forger looks tiny and frightened. The judge looks like someone who reads the back of the Bible, slow and careful. The forger confesses about pressure from the friend who set up shell companies. The prosecution lays out a map of accounts and invoices, a spiderweb that leads back to my husband's company. The judge asks for closing remarks and then announces a short recess with a hint the ruling will be harsh. I sit very still. My hands do not shake. The truth we built is visible like a blueprint on a table under bright lights. The ruling returns in my favor. Restitution is ordered. Frozen funds revert. An order restricts further transfers. Samantha is indicted on charges tied to the convoluted scheme. My husband is ordered to repay and undergo financial oversight. Poetic justice. He loses his position and credibility. Investors pull out. The settlement includes a clause requiring he pay my legal fees and provide an equitable share for the kids' college fund he almost destroyed. I sign the papers and feel a lightness that is quiet and strange. In the settlement envelope I find one last document, a private apology email from him that reveals the real motive: fear of debt and a panicked, awful attempt to fix things with a shortcut. The words are small and weak but true. I fold the papers and put them in my file. I do not gloat. I do not post. The law has spoken and the money will come back slowly like a tide. It is enough. I cash the restitution check not to hoard but to rebuild. I open the small business we had talked about for years. It is modest at first, a bright little shop that sells handcrafted items and offers workshops for people who have lost trust in money. I set aside the rest into an emergency fund and start a support grant for others betrayed financially. My husband moves in with a friend and answers publicly to the consequences of his choices. Samantha faces the law and online humiliation that is deserved. A year later, his name trends for the wrong reasons while mine trends for a viral video I posted, calm, factual, and empowering, about how I kept quiet long enough to win. People send messages thanking me or telling their own stories. I answer the kind ones and send grants to small families. I stayed silent not because I was weak but because I was preparing the moment I would speak. When I did, the truth landed like thunder. Now it is morning. The shop bell rings. A child laughs in the next room. I breathe and feel the ordinary joy of small things. The life I rebuild is honest and slow. It is mine. Please subscribe, like and share my page for more entertaining and engaging stories and also to support my team to bring more and better stories to your screens.